Hello, welcome to my interview with Nan Shuni Giron, who is a Mayan Aj'qi'j. She came and visited the Mt Shasta Goddess Temple in the fall of 2018, and she launched me on what has been an incredible journey of studying the Mayan calendar and its cosmology. I'm so grateful to you, Nan Shuni. Thank you so much for your previous visit and looking so forward to the next time you come back. And for the temple, I was hoping today that you could tell us a little bit about the Mayan calendar and where it comes from, how it originates, who developed it. Maybe we can start with a little history.
Thank you so much, Jesse, for the opportunity. It's really an honor to be speaking once again about the Mayan calendar, because the Mayan calendar is one of the systems of time that it is very different than any others. It is actually like the only one of its kind in the world. So one thing that we need to speak about when we speak about the word Maya, I want to introduce this important aspect of Mayan cosmology. People think that it refers to one race of people, but it is not like that. It does not refer to one race of people. We have Mayans from Mexico, we have Mayans from Guatemala, we have Mayans from El Salvador, and we have Mayans from Honduras. We also have Mayans in Belize. So the word Maya really it can be given to a group of people, many groups of people that came to Mesoamerica. Mesoamerica means including the continents of Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, to came to the studies of the Mayan calendar. So what makes a person Maya? A person becomes Mayan once they become uh, under the study of the Mayan calendars, when they start living time according to the natural cycles of time. So when we speak of the Mayan calendar, we have to understand that there's many Mayan calendars. There's more than 20 Mayan calendars, but the Mayan calendar that we speak nowadays, we speak about three systems in one. The Mayan calendar consists on the observation of the large cycles of time and the smaller cycles of time. We speak about the Mayan calendar, including the long count cycle. That is a cycle that it was created for our solar system. So the Mayans, when they created this calendar or this long count calendar consisting of 26,000 years, um, divided into five periods of 5,200 days, this long calendar had the closing date on December 21st, 2012. The Mayans observed without any telescope, without anything, the cycles. How do we know? How did they did it? I don't know, but they observed that large cycles of time, and that it took 26,000 years for our sun to go around the solar system. Then the Mayans created a smallest cycle for our planet that consists on 365 days, but it was divided different than our Gregorian count. It was divided into 18 months of 20 days, and month number 19, which is a little month that it had 5 days called Wayeb, where people are days to keep and days to reflect upon your acts of the past year. And then the Mayans created a count for humans. They seen that humans took 260 days to reach gestations back in Mayan time. It was 260 days nowadays to 70. Um, and they saw that we have 10 fingers that connect us with the heavens and 10 toes that connect us with the earth. So the Mayans began to formulate this calendar uh, upon the observation of humans and their cycles and their creation. They saw that we have 13 major articulations, being our ankles two, our knees two, our hips two, our wrists two, our elbows two, and our elbows and our shoulders two, and our necks 13. So there's no 14. That's where they got the 13. But there's also other components such as 13 days from new moon to full moon. So I think that all over the world, there was all indigenous cultures that observe the cycles of the moon. So this count that we're going to talk about a little bit today it's a count that is created upon humans. It's called the Tolkien count, and it's the one that mostly is guided by us. that it is a count, that that is a sacred count. It's not a calendar, because when we speak about calendar, we're speaking about money. We're speaking about the Greek word kalendas, which means the taxes that the Romans impose upon you. So this is not about collecting money. So we call it the Tzolk'in sacred count of days instead of the Tzolk'in calendar. Why? Because it's truly not about making money and paying your bills, but it is an instrument, it's an intellectual instrument of creation. It is a place where you can actually be the creator of the master work of art that is your life. So it's beautifully intellectual, it's beautifully created, and it gives us an opportunity to live on a different way of life from Monday through Friday. It allows us to connect with the natural fields. It allows us to connect with our own fields. It allows us to create in that field and not just give our time to the Gregorian calendar. It is very important to also note that from little children, we have been, this calendar has been put upon us without even permission of asking whether we want to follow this calendar. Understanding the Gregorian calendar is crucial in these times. And how did we all agree to live in this time that is done just to pay your bills, go from Monday to Friday, work, holidays, and it's not really bringing the true essence of our being. Um, so the Gregorian calendar could be one of the biggest conspiracies ever created upon man to be controlled. Um, so since the word calendar comes from the word calendas. It's the book of taxes for the Romans. We know month of December is the month of 10 in Latin, diez, December. We know the month of November means nueve, nueve means in Latin is 9 months. So how do we have December becoming the 12th month, and how do we got November becoming the 11th month? Because July was not created. Julius Caesar wanted to cut a piece of your money. So July was created. Then Emperor August says, wait a second, I need some of that money too. So now you have August and July included in the Gregorian calendar to show you that this is not in accordance with humans. This we have months that are uneven. 30, 31 days, 29. So in the Mayan calendar, every we have the 13 months of 20 days. So it's very accurate calendar, and it allows us to connect with our own human experience, which is something very different that no other calendar is able to give you.
Thank you so much. That's so eye-opening, the history of that word calendar. And I heard you call it the Tzolk'in, and I've also heard it referred to as the Cholki. Um, can you tell me a little bit about this?
Sure. So um, it is very important. For the first thing I want to tell everyone in the Mayan calendar is not to get discouraged because you're hearing different names or looking at different glyphs. From region to region, whether Guatemala and Mexico, the this the dialect changes. So the international calendar that I'm speaking about is known as Sol King, which is Tzolkin. But in Guatemala, from Guatemala, we call it, it means the same, the Cholquij, which is Col I J, yeah,
Jay.
J, J. But it is the same. It is the same count of days that it is in Yucatan and in from Yucatan and in Guatemala. It is the same essence. They just have different numbers. I mean, different names. The numbers always stays the same from 1 to 13, based on the 13 articulations and based on the 13 movements of the moon. The Cholkin calendar is the only calendar that is not that it is terrestrial, that it is solar, and it is lunar. So we have a multi-dimensional calendar that works with everything. Why solar? 20 Mayan sun signs represent the sun. The 13 tones or the 13 numbers represent the moon. And we are the terrestrial beings. that are able to hold these two frequencies together. So it is a pretty amazing calendar that allows you that multi dimensionality to work with that no other calendar will give you. So it's pretty amazing. So Cholquish and Solking are the same.
Thank you. That's really helpful because I know that sometimes we see different words for things and it can become a little confusing if you're outside of it and you're just looking in and learning. Can you tell me a little bit about the 20 different signs or nahuals of the Cholqui?
Absolutely. So the 20 seals or the 20 Mayan sun signs um, are the archetypes created are the archetypes created in the Mayan calendar. When the Mayans created this calendar, it was based on the observation of nature and the base of the observation of human tendencies. They believed that we were 20 because 20 was the master number. We have 10 fingers and 10 toes. So each one of the Mayan seals has a tendency. We have many studies upon doing upon animals around which animals, certainly animals are hunting dogs and certainly animals are. But so this is almost the same study as the human design kind of where the Mayans, when a baby is born in the Mayan land, the first thing that the Mayans would do is they will take them to see the Mayan Aj'qi'j. I am a Mayan Aj'qi'j. And I will be able to tell you the energy that you were born according to the stars. And I will be able to tell you the tendencies that you have. And you will be able to raise the baby according to his traits and according to his gifts, according to his days. How did the Mayans did that? How did the Mayans came up with these 20 archetypes? The way the Mayans came up with these 20 archetypes was solely on pure observation. The Mayans will name the child. Okay, I will be named Shuni 12 Death, and everybody in the town in the Mayans, everybody knew I was 12 Death, and they saw that I will. And by observing my traits, they would look at what were my favorite things to do, what animal I could master. They see that I was the master of the owl, that I loved owls, and that I had a communication, deep communications with owls, just like you. You are monkey. They saw that you have communication with monkey. So they started observing the traits because everybody had their number and their name. So their number and their name reveal for many years um, the 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 archetypes of the Mayan astronomy. So this is how they were based. They looked at the Mayans not only looked at positive traits, but the Mayans also look at the negative traits. The beautiful thing about this calendar is that the 20 Mayan energies are in our body. We have the 20 because we all have the 20, the 10 fingers and 10 toes. So we all have the 20. But this is very interesting because in the Western astrology calendar, you will leave periods of Pisces or periods of Sagittarius. But in the Mayan calendar, not only do you get to leave the energy of your day, but it is a 20-day cycle where you can come. I am 12 death. I come up with the energy of death, so I am on my own energy, and no other sacred count of days or system of time it gives you that. So the Nahuales are inside and they're outside. You're able to leave the energy of the day in the field and connect with your own energy and flow in that creation. And that is how these energies were created. So not just by observing the energies in humans and the archetypes, positive and negative, that must have took years of mastery, you know, but also looking at the field. The Mayans were people say that the Mayans were obsessed this about the cycle of time. The Mayans were obsessed in observing events in time to see if things repeat themselves. So they were really obsessed in recording tendencies of animals, of plants, of humans, and this is how they were as perfectionists. So we have these archetypes in different dialects in Mexico, in Guatemala, but basically the core of the archetype is the same.
Thank you. That is so great. I love that in the Mayan calendar, in the Mayan count of days, you're not limited to only expressing one aspect of your being, but that you're part of all 20 aspects of one's being. And maybe yours is more predominant. And what you're doing, if I am to understand correctly, is so for me, example, Oshlahun bats, I'm 13 bats, 13 monkey. That means that I am everything I do is contributing to that field, which is 13, and contributing to that field, which is monkey. And so even
Yes.
on a day that's like today is Oshlahun Akbal, day 13 of the ancestors, right?
For example, because
Yeah.
you are 13 monkey and today is 13 acabao. How does that relate? So the Mayan week is of 13 days and it looks like a wave, okay? You are 13. You are the fastest in the wave. That's when the wave is going to come to shore and it's going to splash like this. Okay? So we know today it's 13. The field is going to move if you're observing the energies in time. You're going to observe and you're going to see that things are happening fast. People are bumping into each other. People going through red lights. People speaking too quickly. It takes mastery, but you can see it. Um, but for you, that you are 13, okay, that you are quick, and today is 13, the feel for you feels just fine because this is your frequency, you know. But for people that is one, the feel is too fast, you know. So it's really the calibration of the feels depending of on your own feel.
Mm-hmm.
My for me, 13 is not tough also because I'm 12. I'm pretty rambunctious like you.
Yeah.
So for us, chaos is not so chaos, you
Right.
know.
Right.
Still move quick, but if we know that the field is moving quick, we need to slow down. In Maya, the Mayan cross and the Mayan calendar was created for us to be in balance. You know, when the field is fast, we need to go slow. When the field is going slow, we can go fast. And when the field is going just right, we can move in the best time. It takes mastery to see that.
Mm.
But in time, it's I would say it takes my students about 1 year to learn it completely. Since I've been in Mount Shasta and I have taught you, you have learned, you're living it already. You're actually developing a relationship with one of these archetypes. So it allows us to calibrate our speed in the Mayan calendar, and it also allows us to create an intention of an action that is the seal of the Nawal. So it's pretty interesting because and I can tell you that no experience would ever be the same because my energy comes with the face of 13 Akabal. 12 death comes in the face of 13 Akabal today because it's the face of the day. And that calibration will be very different than your calibration. So
Mm-hmm.
it is a beautiful thing to really create a unique work of art.
It's your personal
Yes,
relationship with time. Yeah.
absolutely. But you create and why people are so obsessed in following the Mayan calendar and
Mm-hmm.
why are they so thrilled about it? Because time and space for the Maya come together in what we call the Nah. This is the Nah. If you don't create anything in your Nah, okay, how can something attach? If there's no story, there's no coincidence. It's empty. So by you using the Soul King sacred count of days, you're creating a story that things could attach because you have created it. So this gives us the opportunity of synchronicities. Why are my students so happy to follow it, so happy to receive it? Because it causes synchronicities. Why? Because you have creating. It is the only tool. that can prove the secret. So we know about the law of attraction. We know that our wishes are command, but there's no way to prove it. The Mayan calendar can prove it. The Mayan sacred count of days can prove it. That you are the creator and you are the architecture of your life.
And this is so important what you've just said, because one of the things that when you were in town visiting and I was beginning this journey with you, you mentioned that you said, now you watch, because this is going to change how you think. And it really has. And one of the things that I think is really important for our temple to hear about is how the Mayan calendar can help us, especially in the United States, but in the West in general, to decolonize the mind. The mind has been colonized by this commercial consideration of time under the Gregorian calendar. How can the Mayan Chokyi help us to decolonize our way of thinking?
Um, Absolutely. It can allow us to observe the events that we're creating in time. It is a way to really get out of this Gregorian calendar. The 1260 frequency is artificial. Even our universe is not round; it's elliptical. So that frequency, it's an artificial frequency of a watch, over a clock that who controls your time controls your mind. So you gotta be careful not to give this life that you have, especially if you work for corporations, especially if you have this Monday. How this is the Mayan calendar is the only alternative that you have to get out of the matrix. As simple as that. Once you are in the matrix, you're not creating. You're truly going to Monday through Friday, spending holidays and paying your bills. But in the Mayan calendar, you begin to work with nature. You begin to work with the natural cycles of time. You begin to observe people's tendencies. You begin to look at people different. It's not that they're not loving; it's their tendency, or it's not that if we humans we think that our kids are clones from ourselves, and they should be as educated, they should be as loving as we are. But we are not born with different tendencies. This has helped so many parents, so many couples, so many people understand and surrender to the other people's energy, as to know that you cannot make people the way you are. They come born with a tendency, just like animals. And this allows each one of us to work with peace, to know that there's no competition, to know that there's always a place for monkey, there's always a place for kame, there's always a place for the different energies, that it allows us to work in a way that we are collaborating and not competing. We are living the globalization of competition. I have more, I'm better. That are things that are truly defining us. The Mayan calendars allows us the opportunity almost to walk from one artificial dimension to a natural dimension. And this is what we need, especially if in the we're all feeling stressed out. We're all feeling um, this detachment from nature. This is what I'm talking about. The Mayan calendars help you vibrate with cycles of time. Well, today is a very good day for Akabal. It's a good day for that memories, for that thoughts to come out in sunset, in sun, in and appreciate that last ray of sun and that first ray of sun, that moment of meditation, that moment where the mind is enlightened at that dawn, and boom, and things come out. So it is almost inspirational. We live our lives not on a way that we are passionate about it. And I'm just not saying passionate sex, I'm talking about passion. We don't live passion in our lives, and this is the light and the sparkle that we all need. And what sparkles our life? Synchronicities, being in the magic of life. And this is what the Mayan calendar gives you, the magic of the synchronicities, whether did I create it, did I made it, that this works. And it is an alternative of living these times of chaos and living these times of disruption, understanding and accepting each other for what they are. Maybe A person is a planter. A person is a doctor. I mean, honoring each person for their individual gifts. It's the most beautiful way of living in the world. Being able to accept others for their gifts and without, like I say, competing but collaborating. I think that that is the greatest gift that this calendar can give us. The way to see the world in a natural way of flowing with it, without really giving in into a system that it is making us do this or controlling us or shutting us down. Television, our watch, our internet is robbing us. Is robbing us, and we're working this synapses and this memory with just automatic minds. Automatic minds that were set when we were 5 years old. We've been set with this. So it's time for us to take another path, move the mind, move the synapses in the brain by doing different things. Then that way you can start beginning to have a new complete life. And in 1 year, my students have been able to create new lives for themselves and be able to enjoy following this and being sad when the energies are not there or lost when the energies are not there. It's like the energies take on a special realm. They take it any an entity. They're your companions, they're your friends, they're your guides. Oh, it's a good day, but tomorrow is gonna be another day and the energy is not gonna feel the same and my heart is not gonna feel the same. And that is the opportunity.
I just love, I could listen to you all day. And of course, I will again when you come back to Mount Shasta to teach in the future. We're hoping to have you back this fall, and we'll be announcing that when we have our dates firm. But before we close today, Shuni, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned before that, one would approach a Mayan Aj'qi'j to help with discerning the Nahual and sign of the child, and that you yourself are a Mayan Aj'qi'j. Could you tell us a little bit about the role of the Aj'qi'j?
Um, so the Ahi is a person that has taken the steps of the ancestors to learn the archetype, not just to learn them technically from a book, but actually really work on the energies on a physical level. Learning the Mayan energies, it's learning that everything is in your body. This knowledge, it's obviously it's like it's step by step. First, you begin to walk the path of learning the technicals. Then you begin working with the fire. Then you begin taking it to the altars of Guatemala, taking the culture where it belongs, understanding what was the what was the original thought of the Amerindians of Mesoamerica, which is crucial for understanding how did they create time. You know, how do they did it without telescopes? So understanding is working is the beginning. The work begins connecting with the energies every day, walking the path of the ancestors, then working with the physical energies. Then, like you say, becoming involved with each energy independently. Because, like you say, at times, each one comes at a different time. So it's very interesting of how does that work. Um, my work as a Mayan Aj'qi'j is never finished. There's always concepts for this is just a small introduction to show you how the calendar works. The calendar works with your observation of the energy of the day first. Then you weave it with the energy of the week. Then you get bigger and then you weave it with the energy of the month. And then you get bigger and then you weave it with the energy of the year. So that's what I'm saying. This is it's a study that goes beyond. So as a Mayan Akim, you observe people, you observe animals, you observe the field, you observe everything inside of the constellation. What comes in? Why did it came in this moment? And what you go a little bit beyond the eye of the humans, where you just look at forward. With the Mayan knowledge and the Mayan observation, you begin really to be able to see things from above and feel things energetically. So it's a way that it takes time to get there. It takes dedication, but it is a beautiful way. It is a beautiful way to do it right. I always tell my students I said, you can try to teach, you can do, but why not do it right and honorable and understand and learn it the way you need to learn it. Our ancestors, the Maya, kept this knowledge hidden for a long time. This knowledge was hidden just to survive the test of time, to survive the conquista, and it is finally, but this is the gift for humanity. This is the greatest gift that the Maya could leave humanity, and I think the expansion of it would allow everybody to go back to the mother spoon, the Maya, because remember, as I say, the teachings of the Mayan calendar are not just for the Mayan people. The teachings of the Mayan calendar are for the people who want to become Maya, because what makes them Maya are the teachings of the Mayan calendar. So everybody can learn it. Everybody that wants to live a different life can learn it. Everybody that wants to play with time can learn it. Everybody who is dedicated and had enough of going through Monday through Friday and would love to see the power of their magic and their intention can do it. So it just takes time. It takes patience to understand that there's different dialects and that there's cliffs to understand from a year that are different from the Mayan birthday and not giving discouraged. I always say to my students, when you get tired of doing your Mayan day keeping, quit. Go back to your Gregorian calendar, and then you realize that there's no magic happening. And that brings us back to the Mayan calendar. So I always say go in and out. Go in from sacred time in the Mayan calendar to non-sacred time in your Gregorian calendar, and then jump up and down. And whenever you're ready to just always retake it. Just always go back to the energy of the day, connect with that in the morning, and begin with that to connect. That is the way you need to start. And then you start working with the energies, one on one within the days. Well, I don't paint. Let me work with the energy of monkey. So you begin to embrace it and call it upon yourself to bring it. So that's the one way to do it. But yes, begin to understand that I'm going to say this last paragraph. The Mayan sacred count of days is the golden book of knowledge. The golden book of knowledge is the knowledge of our sacred body. Every Mayan energy is in your body. So I have gone as far as I can map the body. So sometimes when I am in ceremony, one of my elbows will start like itching. This is an energy that is calling me that I know what energy it is because I have my body mapped, and it is telling me address this issue or address this energy. So it is something so amazing that has so many dimensions. That the best dimension is just to know that once you know your Mayan Nawal, you are walking in life knowing who you are. When you don't know who you are, you can bang the walls and not know, but once you know, you really become. So I want to invite all of you to try it. Just try it. And I say try it for 20 days and see how your life has changed from that last 20 days.
Thank you so much. I am going to encourage our temple members to continue to discover and learn about the Mayan sacred count of days, the Tzolkin, the Cholki, and we are going to look forward to welcoming you back for a visit here to the Mt Shasta Goddess Temple this fall. And in the meantime, if there is anyone who has any questions or is interested in learning more, please talk to me and I can connect you with Nan Shuni Giron. And she then has her whole Mayan Red Path initiation program, and she also offers sacred tours to Guatemala, to the various sacred sites, where as an Aj'qi'j, she has the permits to be able to do the sacred ceremonies as they were intended to be done in the sacred sites. So, and I am going to look forward to hopefully bringing a group and coming and doing a tour with you in 2020. This is my dream, is to bring a group and to come do this.
It will be amazing to receive you. It will be amazing to teach all of you. Um, we are the only country in the world to allow us to have the sacred fires just like they were done 600 years ago. We don't know how long this is going to go for, but so far we have the arrangements of peace between indigenous in Guatemala that we have permits to do this. The experience is beautiful. We connect with nature. We detach from the matrix, and I think that by the time that this year passed, I think that you will be ready, really, to embark in all this knowledge that you have acquired. I see in your face this excitement from this calendar and what it has given you. I see you pronouncing the numbers perfect, and I really see you. How is this changing so many people? It's amazing. So I would really love to invite all of you to learn your Mayan energy, connect with this. I'm able to give you your tendencies, your positive sides, your negative sides, and it is a study based on many years of observation, and it's empowering. I always tell my students, come and find me when you need me, and you will be a very satisfied customer. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Jesse. My wish for everyone it is to just be able to live in the creating time that you are here for. It's time for all of us to connect with something deeper than just money and just physical things. It is time to connect with something that goes beyond, and that is our own human will to understand that our body has all the answers, and that is the greatest book, is knowing the golden book of knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Nanshuni. You are an international treasure. So thankful to you. And I'm going to close our video now. And once I've posted it, I'll include links and I'll help people find their way to Nanshuni if you feel that you have heard the call. Bye.